She said, "We're just friends," but I saw her sending him heartfelt texts under my nose. I didn't mean to see them. I really didn't. I wasn't snooping. But there it was, her phone, sitting face up on the kitchen counter, her thumb casually scrolling through her messages. I was only a few feet away, walking to grab my mug, but in the split second I glanced over, I saw the familiar name. Mark. The same guy she always spoke so fondly of when we'd talk about her college friends. The one I'd met twice and always felt just a little uneasy around. What was the words that stopped me cold? I don't know why I read them. I know I shouldn't have, but once I saw the first line, my body froze. It was a text from her that read, "I miss you. I'm really grateful for everything you've done for me. I don't know where I'd be without you." My heart dropped. I tried to dismiss it, tried to tell myself it was just an innocent message, that I was overthinking. But then the next message popped up, and my stomach churned. It was from Mark. "You're amazing, and I'll always be here for you, no matter what." And that's when I knew this wasn't just friendship. The tone, the intimacy, the emotional closeness between them, it wasn't something that belonged in the just friends category. I didn't even know what to do with myself in that moment. I just stood there, frozen in time, watching as she tapped out another message. I wanted to say something. I wanted to confront her right there, to ask why she was doing this, why she was hiding it, but my body was paralyzed. I couldn't bring myself to disturb the moment. My mind was racing, but I couldn't focus on anything. The betrayal hit me like a freight train, but I was still rooted to the spot. I kept telling myself to breathe, to stay calm, but it wasn't working. She had been so convincing when we talked about her friendship with him. So casual, so normal. How could I not have seen it? How had I been this blind? She looked up at me then, her eyes meeting mine for just a second, and something shifted. Her face went pale, her expression freezing for a fraction of a second. But she quickly recovered, forcing a smile. "Hey, babe," she said. "You want some coffee?" It was like I wasn't even there for a moment. Like she knew what I had just seen, but was trying to brush it off as if nothing was wrong. And in that instant, I had this gut-wrenching feeling that I was in a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. I walked past her, avoiding her gaze, pretending everything was fine. But I couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal, the lies, the manipulation. How long had this been going on behind my back? As she started brewing the coffee, I couldn't help but glance back at her phone, but it was too late. She had already swiped it out of view. That small action, swiping the phone away, felt like a slap in the face, even though she probably didn't mean it that way. But in my head, the damage had already been done. I couldn't unsee those texts. I couldn't unfeel the doubt now creeping into every crevice of our relationship. I was so confused. We had been together for over 2 years. We lived together. We made plans together. We talked about the future, about moving to a bigger place, maybe even starting a family someday. All of that was on the table, and yet here I was questioning everything. We'd been together for 2 years, and to outsiders, it probably seemed like we had the perfect relationship. We lived in a small but cozy apartment in the city. We laughed together. We fought sometimes, but we always worked through things. There was nothing extraordinary about us, but there was a comfort, a familiarity. I thought we were happy. I thought I knew her, everything about her. She was my best friend, my partner, my equal. We talked about everything, or so I thought. But in the last few months, things had started to shift. There were moments where I felt like she was slipping away, like I couldn't catch her when she pulled back. She'd be on her phone more often, scrolling through messages, laughing at something she found funny. I didn't think much of it first. She was entitled to her space, her friends. But looking back, I can see how much I missed, how much I let slip by because I trusted her completely. I didn't question anything. Mark, he was a guy she'd known since college. I'd met him twice, both times under casual circumstances. He was nice enough, but there was something about him I didn't like. Maybe it was the way he looked at her, or the way she talked about him. She'd say things like, "Oh, Mark always has the best advice," or "Mark knows me better than anyone." And I'd smile, nodding along, trying not to let my discomfort show. I had no reason not to trust her, right? So I told myself it was fine. But now, I didn't know what to think anymore. The texting, the heart emojis, the "I miss you" messages. It felt like she was emotionally invested in him. It felt like she was giving him the pieces of herself she had promised me. And here I was, left in the dark, wondering how long this had been going on. I didn't know what to do next. I didn't know if I should confront her immediately or wait until I had more information. But the truth was I couldn't live with this weight. I couldn't pretend everything was fine when I felt like I was drowning in suspicion. I wasn't the kind of person who would sit idly by and let someone betray me. I wasn't going to be the fool. So I waited. I waited for her to get back from her shift, for her to come home and look me in the eye like everything was normal. I knew this conversation was coming, and it was going to be a storm. When she finally walked through the door that evening, I was sitting on the couch, my hands gripping the edges of my phone like a lifeline. She was a few minutes late, but I didn't care about that anymore. All I cared about was what I had seen, what I knew. "Hey," she said, tossing her bag on the couch, looking at me with that familiar, tired smile. "How was your day?" I stared at her, my heart racing. I wasn't going to beat around the bush anymore. No more pretending. I couldn't do it. "Who's Mark?" I asked bluntly, my voice low but firm. She froze. It was like the air shifted around us. Her smile faltered, and I could see the color drain from her face. She looked at me for a split second, then back down at the floor. Mark's just a friend," she said, her voice a little too steady. "You know that." I nodded slowly, feeling the knot in my stomach tighten. "I saw your texts, the ones you've been sending him. I thought you said he was just a friend." Her eyes widened, and I watched her fight to keep herself composed. But I could see it in her eyes. The guilt, the fear, it was all there. I didn't want to hurt you," she started, but I could already tell she was trying to think of something to say that would make everything go away. "Don't lie to me, Kara," I interrupted. "I saw the texts. I saw how close you are with him. You told me I was the one, that we were in this together. But now I find out you've been giving him everything you've been giving me. You've been lying to me." She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. She just stood there, looking like she wanted to say something, anything that would make this stop. But nothing could fix this. Nothing could fix the broken trust between us. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she said finally, tears welling up in her eyes. "But we've been talking so much, and I don't know what to say. I'm sorry, I should have told you." "Should have told me?" I repeated, shaking my head. "How long has this been going on, Kara? How long have you been lying to me?" Her silence was answer enough. I stood up, taking a deep breath. I felt the rage boiling beneath my skin, but there was a part of me that was just numb to everything. I didn't know who she was anymore. I didn't know what I was holding on to. "I don't know if I can do this anymore," I said, the words feeling like a weight lifting off me. "I can't trust you. I don't know what we are anymore." Her face crumpled, but I was done. There was nothing more to say. Part 2. The silence between us was suffocating. Kara stood there, her face pale and her hands shaking, but I couldn't bring myself to feel sorry for her. I had felt too much for too long already. The anger, the betrayal, it was all there, but so was the sorrow. Sorrow for the relationship that was slipping through my fingers. Sorrow for the trust one had given her, which she had so easily broken. "I don't know what you want me to say," Kara finally whispered, her voice cracking, her eyes full of tears. I was confused. I didn't want to hurt you. I thought maybe I could just keep it all separate, but I couldn't. I didn't know if I could believe that anymore. I didn't know if I wanted to. "You've been keeping this from me for months, Kara. You've been telling me everything is fine, that we're good, but behind my back, you've been emotionally invested in him." I rubbed my temples, tried to keep the anger from bubbling over. "You've been lying to me. And for what?" "So you could have the best of both worlds." She opened her mouth, but I couldn't listen to her excuses anymore. The words I wanted to say were stuck in my throat. Words that would make her understand just how much this hurt, how much it shattered me to see this side of her. But I couldn't find them. Instead, all I could think about was how I had seen it coming. How I had ignored my gut for so long, thinking that love was enough. But it wasn't. It wasn't enough. I could see the guilt in her eyes, the desperation in her attempt to make things right. But it was too little, too late. And the worst part? I couldn't even tell her I was still in love with her. I couldn't bring myself to say that because deep down, I knew the love we had was tainted now. It was broken. I turned away from her, running a hand over my face, trying to steady my breath. I need some time. I can't keep doing this right now, Kara. She looked like she was about to protest, but she just nodded instead. A small part of me felt sorry for her. She was hurting too, I knew that. But I couldn't be the one to comfort her right now. I had to take care of myself. I had to protect myself, because what I had learned in the last few minutes was that I couldn't trust her anymore. "I'm sorry," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I'm so sorry." I didn't say anything back. I couldn't. The next few days were a blur. I stayed at my brother's place for a while, tried to figure out what I was supposed to do next. My mind was constantly on Kara, but it wasn't in the way I wanted it to be. I wasn't missing her, not in the way I thought I would. Instead, I felt a strange sense of relief. The weight of all the doubts, the uncertainty, had been lifted. But it wasn't a happy feeling. It was a quiet kind of numbness, like I was existing in between two worlds. One where everything felt normal, and one where everything had come crashing down. I didn't want to talk to Kara. I couldn't. I couldn't look at her the same way anymore, and I needed time to figure out if this was something I could even move past. I didn't know what was going on in her mind. I didn't know if she was just confused or if she had really checked out of our relationship. Maybe she had never been all in, and I was the last one to realize it. I didn't know if I even wanted to find out anymore. A few days passed before I felt like I could face the situation. I went back to the apartment. Kara was sitting on the couch when I walked in, her face soft and tired. She looked up at me, her expression filled with hope, as if I was about to give her some answer that would somehow fix everything. But the reality was there was no answer. There was nothing I could say to make this right. "I think we need to talk," I said, my voice heavy with the weight of everything that had happened. Her face fell slightly, and I could see the tension in her body as she sat up straighter. "I know," she said quietly. "I know I messed up, and I'm so sorry, Chris. I don't even know what happened. I didn't mean for things to get out of control. I felt so connected to him, and I didn't know how to stop it. I didn't know how to respond to that. The idea of her and Mark together. It made my stomach churn, but at the same time, I couldn't ignore what she was saying. She was right about one thing. She didn't mean for things to get out of control, but they had. And now, here we were. "Why didn't you just tell me, Kara?" I asked, my voice quieter now. "Why didn't you come to me? We could have worked through it together." She shook her head, her eyes filled with tears. "I was scared. I didn't know how to tell you that I wasn't feeling the same anymore. I didn't know how to explain that. I thought I was just confused, but I've been lying to myself. I've been lying to you." I took a deep breath, trying to keep my composure. "The thing is, Kara, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I don't know if I can keep pretending like everything is fine when you've already emotionally checked out. I can't be with someone who's divided like that. And I can't keep pretending that I don't feel hurt by all of this." She let out a choked sob. "I understand. I deserve that. I don't expect you to forgive me right now. But I want to try, Chris. I want to make this right. I don't know if I can ever forgive you, Kara," I said quietly, shaking my head. "I don't know if this is something we can fix. What you did, it's not something I can just overlook. And I don't want to be with someone who feels like they have to hide their feelings from me. I don't want to be that guy." She was silent for a moment, wiping her eyes, trying to control her emotions. I watched her, and for the first time, I felt like I was seeing her clearly. She wasn't the woman I thought she was, and I wasn't the person I used to be either. The love I had for her was still there, but it was tainted now, broken by the weight of everything that had happened. "I don't want to lose you," she whispered. "I'll do anything, Chris. Please don't walk away from us." I didn't have an answer for her. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Part of me still wanted to believe that we could fix this, that we could rebuild something out of the wreckage. But the other part of me, the stronger part, knew that it was over. The trust was gone. The foundation was cracked. And no amount of promises or apologies could change that. "I need some time," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "I need to think about everything. I need to figure out what I want." She nodded, the tears still streaming down her face. She didn't try to stop me as I grabbed my jacket and walked out the door. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know this. I can't keep going back to someone who has already walked away from me, even if she doesn't know it yet. As I stepped out into the night, I felt a strange sense of finality. The hardest part wasn't realizing what had happened. It was knowing that I had to let go, no matter how much it hurt.